So should we be able to kill newborns?
What do you mean by that?
Aren't newborns dependent on people? If I had a newborn and I left it alone for a week, do you think it'd still be alive when I came back?
In my opinion, it's different once the child has been birthed and is breathing out in the world.
What's the difference?
Because the adult already made the decision to bring the child into the world.
What's the difference in the baby?
There is no difference in the baby.
What's up, guys? This is Natalie Carey with Red Liberty Media. We're here in Venice Beach to find out what people think about Roe versus Wade potentially being overturned. Let's get going. So basically what it will do is leave it up to the states to make their own laws. It doesn't actually make abortion illegal. It just allows the states to choose. Okay. Yeah. So what do you think about them overturning Roe versus Wade?
I mean, I think in this country, people are really into states making their own rights, and that's why it's up to the constituents of those states to make sure that shit doesn't happen. That stuff doesn't happen. Those things don't happen.
What do you think about the possible overturn of Roe versus Wade?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous and like going back in time.
How come?
Women should have the right to do whatever they want with their own body, period.
What do you think about a woman's right to abortion?
I think...
Should they have a right to an abortion?
They should have a right. I think women should have a right.
I think women should have a right.
Yeah, I think they should have their opinion of what they want to do. So.
What about you?
Me too. I think so too. But it come to a long. You feel me?
They shouldn't be done, but I think everybody had they say so.
You think they shouldn't get abortions, but they should have the right to get an abortion?
Like, I feel like they should have their own say so. Like, women should have to say so if they want to or not. But
should men have
got their own opinion?
I feel like men should have some type of say so.
Men should be able to have a say. Like if yes.
I think so, because without the men, the female's not gonna really be able to raise that baby like how they want to. You feel me? So if the female really think that man the one, then let that man keep his baby. You hear me? But you should give him the idea or the break.
Do you think there might be anything morally wrong with having an abortion?
No.
Not at all.
I think that everybody has the power. Everyone should have the power of choice.
Do you think there should be limits on abortion?
I work in healthcare. I should probably have a better handle on it. I couldn't say because I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know the minutia. I'm not like a pathologist. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think that everything should have some sort of limit. There has to be a ceiling on anything. I don't know what that ceiling would be for abortion.
Up until what point?
I think that people should do what's best for them, and there's a lot of unwanted children in the world, and I think it's a personal decision, and there's also a lot of circumstances that go into the decision.
So would you say up until the point of birth then, or sooner than that, there should be a cutoff?
I think that's an individual decision that everyone would have to make for themselves based on the circumstances of the situation.
But they should be allowed. They should have that opportunity to choose that if they want.
Yes.
To abort a 9-month-old baby up until the point of birth?
I don't know. I've never been asked that, really. Yes, because a child unwanted is just going to lead to probably a very troubled life. I think that children deserve to have parents.
Do you think that there are any people out there who had parents who didn't want them who are happy to be alive?
Absolutely. I mean, my best friend was adopted. So, I think that was a conscious choice where that person made a decision to put her in hands of caring people. And not everybody does that. And the world's a scary place.
But you do think 9 months is too much?
It depends. There's different factors. Like, is the mother's life in question. There's different factors that I'm not well versed on.
But for just an ordinary cause, no health risk. Yeah, it's just, should they have the choice at 9 months?
I think up to 9 months, you've had a bit to think about things. So, but again, situations are different. There could be violence involved. There could be all sorts of terrible things. So I just don't know. I couldn't.
But a normal situation.
Yeah, probably 9 months might be a little too long.
Okay. When do you think life begins?
I think life begins when you're. I do think life begins when you're in the womb, but I don't think you start living life until you're out of it.
So at what point in the womb do you think?
I guess at conception.
So you're actually fine with them overturning Roe versus Wade because it allows the states to make their own choices?
No, because I live in Texas and I know how that's going to go. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that federal protection is necessary, but I don't think that it necessarily means that all states are going to ban abortions. So hopefully we just have enough people out there voting to where we won't let that happen. It may actually cause people to rally even more at a grassroots level.
What would you say if a woman wants to have an abortion but the father doesn't? Then what do you think?
Oh, you put me on the spot. That's tough.
Ask the question again.
If the mom wants to
the
have an
dad
abortion but the dad doesn't, what do you think should happen then?
The mom gonna get what she want anyway, so hey.
Right. Well, the mother do gotta push the baby out, so I feel like if the mother want to have the child or abort the child, it should be up to her. But the man should have some kind of say-so.
Do you think that baby has any rights in the womb?
No.
None at all.
No.
Do you think babies in the womb can feel pain?
I don't know. Yes, probably.
But they shouldn't have any rights.
I'm not sure.
How do you think that would affect a guy if he wanted to have his baby and the mom chose to abort it? How would that affect you as a man?
It would hurt. It would hurt. Like, especially if it's somebody's first child. Yeah, I think it would hurt.
Yep. If it's somebody's first child, a man's first child, and he want the child, then he gonna be hurt.
He'd definitely be hurt.
Do you think women understand that?
Some do, some don't.
So you don't think a baby has any rights over their own body at all?
It's a complicated question. I think it would depend on the circumstance. I might answer that question differently based on the circumstance.
Do you think a baby who was the result of rape at 9 months old should have any rights?
I don't know. Again, it depends on the circumstances.
That's the most extreme circumstance I can think of. Does that baby have rights?
It's not that I don't think the baby has rights. I think it's wrong. It depends on what the mother wants.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair to have a child to unwanted parents?
Yes, because if my parents didn't want me, I would still want to be alive.
But don't you think that's based on your experience? What if you had a different experience and we're standing in Venice Beach right now and drop dead gorgeous?
Thank you. I think I would still want to be alive because that's human instinct. We have survival instincts. We want to live. People want to live.
I feel like people shouldn't bring babies to the world if they can't take care of them. I feel like it's selfish as shit. So,
Should they have sex then?
yeah, be using protection. No glove, no love.
What about if they used protection and still got pregnant?
Do you still?
How you answer that?
Yeah, how do you answer that?
That man took the glove off.
He took the glove off, so he should be responsible.
But what if he didn't and it was broke or something?
They gotta come to an agreement then, not that.
Yeah, they gotta come to some type of agreement, or
Yeah, they had sex, so are they responsible?
don't get me wrong. I know it takes two, but at the same time, I just feel like it's selfish if a person can't take care of the child. They shouldn't have it.
But aren't there other people who will take care of that child?
Yeah, that's true.
Does a baby have rights in the womb?
No, but the parent should be responsible.
No, babies do not have rights in the room, in the womb.
Not at all.
Not at all. When do people get rights? The right to live, just basic human rights. When do people get their basic human rights?
I'm gonna keep it 100, right? I know, like, I don't know, but yeah, I think since they come out, I don't know, like that shit. It should just, it just should come.
It is.
Yeah, that is a good question, but
Say that again?
So that's a tricky question.
All right, I feel like you get your human rights when you're able to make your own decision.
So does a 1-year-old have any rights?
Can a 1-year-old make his own decision?
What about a 1-month-old?
No,
So you should be able to kill a 1-month-old,
no,
but he doesn't have rights.
that's up to the parent.
So a parent should be able to kill a 1-month-old?
I don't think the parent. It's up to the parent if they want to have the child or not, though.
So, but what about a baby in the womb?
That's a trick question.
that is a good question. You really on the one with that one. Right.
So is it right to take away the life of someone who hasn't even had the right, like the chance to say, I want to live? You're just assuming that they don't. You get to tell them if they want to or not?
Well, they don't know the difference.
Don't they still have rights? They're a human being, right?
It's still being carried by someone who is alive, and it depends on that person.
So should we be able to kill newborns?
What do you mean by that?
Aren't newborns dependent on people? If I had a newborn and I left it alone for a week, do you think it'd still be alive when I came back?
In my opinion, it's different once the child has been birthed and is breathing out in the world.
What's the difference?
Because the adult already made the decision to bring the child into the world.
What's the difference in the baby?
There is no difference in the baby.
So same baby, same everything. It's about location then? If you're inside of a belly, you don't have rights. If you're outside of a belly, you do. It's about location. That gives the baby the rights.
I don't think that the baby... it's a complicated question. I think that once the baby... It depends on the adult. If the adults decided to have the baby, then it's different.
So the baby only has rights as long as the parents get to choose those rights for the baby. So the baby doesn't actually have any rights at all then.
The baby doesn't have rights until the baby's 18.
Really? So can we kill like 12-year-olds?
Well, unfortunately, unfit parents do kill 12-year-olds.
Should they be allowed to do that?
No.
Why not?
Because it's wrong to kill anybody, but, especially an innocent child. I get it.
Isn't a baby in the womb an innocent child?
Yes, but it's not living out in the world yet. It's not experiencing this life that we're experiencing yet.
Babies do have experiences. They respond to the sound of their mom's voice. They respond to music. Babies are actually responsive in the womb, so they are having an experience, and they are alive, so they are having a lived experience.
But you have to ask yourself, is that a positive or a negative experience? And does that turn people into positive or negative people and positive or negative influences in the world? I would wonder if, people who become serial killers, what their parents were like when they were in the womb, for example.
Do you know anybody in your personal life who maybe didn't have the best parents but turned out all right?
Yes, but fewer than most.
And the ones who didn't, should they just go die?
No.
Do you think they want to die?
I don't know. I don't speak for other people.
When you kill a baby in the womb, you do.
A lot of people kill themselves.
They choose that for themselves.
That's true, but a baby doesn't have the ability to make those decisions yet.
Do you think any baby would kill themselves?
I don't know.
You said that people kill themselves based on the experience they had growing up. So a baby who hasn't had any experience growing up is probably not going to kill itself, right?
Well, if the mother is smoking and drinking and doing drugs and the baby isn't developing properly inside, it's probably not having a good experience. So, but who am I to speak for the baby inside of the womb?
There are babies who are born to parents like that who do survive, and they grow up and they're fully functioning adults.
I totally agree with that. I know some of them. Some of them are my friends, you know? And then there's also a lot that don't. And I also know some of them. And they don't really have a fair chance or a shot to become whoever they want to be in this life.
You don't think any of that's personal choice? You think it's all their product of their raising?
I think it's both.
Okay. Yeah. So if it's both, then they do still have some power. They do still have some autonomy, some choice. It's not all just...
But their choices could be skewed by the experience that they already had in the womb. They might not be able to have the ability to make the right choices.
So we should just kill them?
It depends on the circumstance.
How do you know who's going to turn out happy and thriving and desiring to be alive and who isn't?
You don't.
So then, shouldn't you err on the side of caution and let everybody live?
Not in this world that we live in.
Should I be able to abort an 8.5-month-old baby in my tummy?
No.
Up until what point should I be able to abort a baby?
3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months. Why?
Because the baby isn't all the way developed yet.
You really ain't gonna know what you want to do before that, though.
So, why does a baby that's not fully developed not have rights, but one that's developed does have rights? What's the difference? Why?
It's really no difference. It's no difference.
Why can you kill a 3-month baby in the womb and not an 8-month?
You're right. I feel like, since you said it like that, it shouldn't be no abortions.
No abortions.
Yeah, I don't think it should be you. If you did it, if you made a baby, then yeah, I think you should keep it.
We live in a culture that promotes sex everywhere you look. The internet, TV, music, everywhere. Sex, sex, sex. And then when that sex has real life consequences, we say, oh, well, we know it's hard for you. Oh, you can't support it. Oh, it's your body, your choice. And it's like, if you're making adult decisions, you have to live with adult consequences.
Right, but because we live in an oversexed culture that is influencing children, children aren't capable of making adult decisions. So if you had a 12-year-old daughter that was raped by a murderer, would you want her to have that child?
Yeah, but trust me, she would be in very intense therapy. And, like, it would not just be something where it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to have it. It's like we are seriously, like, talking about it, seeking counseling and praying and everything. Like,
right.
You know, and yeah. But I also think the odds of that happening to my daughter are like astronomically low, but the number of abortions is astronomically high. Right. So to use that extreme, I think if you're someone who is pro-abortion and pro-choice, then if you're going to make an argument, the argument has to be able to stand on the typical situation. Using extremes makes it seem like your argument is actually very weak. Not like you specifically, but this is something I've noticed in the pro-choice argument is always going to extremes. And it's like, if there's a good argument in what is normal, what is like average, what happens over and over again, then you should be able to stand on that. Otherwise, it kind of shows that even some people who are pro-choice don't actually maybe even agree with their own argument because you have to go to the extremes. Like,
I could see that, and I respect your point of view, but I definitely disagree. Because if I had a 12-year-old daughter that was raped by a murderer, I think that would be the right thing to do.
what if you had a 20-year-old daughter who had sex with her boyfriend and got pregnant?
I think that she should make her own decision.
So it stands either way. You feel the same way either way. Like,
Well, that's a child and an adult.
but your position is the same either way.
Yes.
So why go to the extreme?
Because it's reality.
What's the more likely reality is that you had a 20-year-old daughter who got pregnant by her boyfriend. That's way, way, way more likely than a 12-year-old girl getting raped by a murderer.
Well, I don't know. I don't have all the statistics and numbers, but,
I think it's like 0.01% is like rape.
maybe. But, I also know that the foster program isn't exactly a delight.
That wraps up our time in Venice Beach. I hope you guys have a good one. Make sure you like and subscribe to Red Liberty Media for more content. See you next time.
I don't agree with most things that get passed in Texas, and I especially disagree on a very human level with Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott.